In March of this year, I witnessed an accident caused by a car that was trying to merge in a very dangerous way, and another car was blocking its merge. The victim was a motorcyclist who was minding his own business, sticking to his lane. He was passed by the car that ended up knocking into him before that car had even left his lane. And then the car who refused entry for that car into the other lane jerked his car off to the side in order to threaten the car back off, which caused the first car to panic, pull back into the other lane, and smash into the motorcycle. Two cars were driving dangerously in this case. The first, of course, is the car who was trying to merge dangerously and very forcefully, and who passed the motorcycle before even having entered the other lane fully. But the second is the car who didn't let the car merge. I've had this discussion on social media with several people, and it seems common that people struggle to understand the fact that two people can be in the wrong at the same time. It can both be the case that the car who's trying to get in should not be trying to get in and is driving dangerously. And it can also be the case that the safe thing for you to do is to let the person in. I'm not sure why this is so hard to understand. A lot of the pushback I got from people in comments was them explaining, yeah, but the car shouldn't have been merging there. The car was in the wrong. And I understand that. But that has nothing to do with the car that was not letting the car in. There's ways we can drive, which maybe it's not fair. Maybe it's not fair for us to let the other car in because they should wait their turn. They should merge safely. Driving on the road isn't about it being fair. Driving on the road is about trying to not have injuries, trying to get home without anyone being injured. So if someone else is driving dangerously, we can mitigate the harm or the risk posed by their dangerous driving by letting them in, letting them do whatever they're trying to do and just get out of our way and get past. And maybe they'll go off to cause some other accident, but if we can prevent just one accident, that's worth it. This discussion came up again recently because someone posted this video where their comment was, just because your indicator's on doesn't mean I'm obligated to give way to you. And lots of people who were pushing back to me in the comments were saying that car wasn't getting up to speed, that wasn't a merging point. Both lanes continued for a long way. They didn't need to merge there. And all of that may be true. A good merging habit is to get up to the same speed as the other cars before you try to merge. Wait for a gap, indicate well before you go, and then merge. But that's a separate conversation. That's a conversation about what the car trying to merge should or should not have done. My comment in reply was just to point out how it's horrible driving to not let people in who are trying to get in. And the reason why I'm so adamant about that is because I saw a motorcyclist who had his bike damaged and his shoulder broken because someone didn't let a dangerous driver merge. Now, in this case, I don't think either party was driving dangerously, but I do think the principle is important that if someone's trying to merge, you should let them in. And I also think the logical point here that is so widely misunderstood is just really simple, and I wanted to make a video to explain it because I was trying to share this video in comments, and sometimes it let me share it, but some of my comments were held for review, and rather than rewrite my comments or whatever else, I thought I'd just make a little video and reply to some of these comments. So here I was replying to Dave Smith, who was saying people are clearly explaining the errors made by the person trying to move lanes, but still you persist with the notion that because someone was indicating the person who didn't slow down to let them in is horrible, you need to retake a test. Now, I'm not sure why they're commenting on my driving habits because none of that's come up at all. When I go to merge, I wait for a gap, I indicate and give plenty of warning and so on. I'm an electrician who does service work. I drive all day long. And I'm not sure why they're so hung up on talking about what the driver who was trying to merge should be doing. And my reply was, yes, not letting someone in who's trying to get in is bad driving, even if the person trying to merge is doing it wrong. Here's proof. And then I posted the video, which didn't let my comment go. What's so hard to understand with the fact that someone else's bad driving doesn't mean you shouldn't let them in. The fact that the other person shouldn't be doing what they're doing doesn't bear on the facts about what you should or shouldn't do. Oh, I guess this reminds me of toddlers, actually. I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, so they're not quite toddlers, but one of them, they fight, as boys do. And often when one of them's hurt the other one, and then you pull them up on it, and you say, what did you do? They don't want to talk about what they did. They want to say, he was doing this. It's like, yeah, I'm not asking you what he did. I'm asking, what did you do? Why is he crying? And it's really hard with kids of that age to get them to explain what they did to the other kid. All they want to do is explain the reason why they did it. But of course, it's never right to hit the other kid. What you're supposed to do is go to a parent. But in the case of driving, you just do whatever's the safest, even if the other person's being an idiot. And sometimes that means letting them in. And if everybody drove like that, just letting people in when they're trying to get in, the road would be a much safer place. I might pull up a few more comments that I was trying to respond to. Yeah, again, more people explaining, the problem with that on-ramp is that the person trying to merge is doing 80 and everyone else is doing 100. So yeah, the car should have waited a little bit longer for merging. Or in some cases, the people on the motorway just need to either change lanes so that to create space for the cars merging, or slow down a little bit so the merging can happen smoothly. Here's another comment of mine that was held for review. Yeah, they're saying the car should drop behind if they need to be in quickly, which I don't disagree with. And they had matched speed, which may very well be true. It's hard to tell just from a dash cam what was going on. One of the other commenters pointed out that it looked like the first car, the guy, the poster, the author of the post, had sped up to close the gap. And somebody else replied saying the van in front had actually slowed down. The van in front had probably slowed down in order to create space for cars to merge. And there's this safe driving principle called the 2-second rule. And what you're supposed to do is allow 2 seconds of road in front of you. So depending on your speed, it will vary how much space you need to leave. And just with children growing up, that you count 1,000, 2 1,000 after you've spotted an object, and you wait till you drive past that object, and you should be able to get to 2 1,000 before you pass that object, and that means you've got a 2-second following distance. I grew up in Canada, and it felt like people follow this a lot more over there than they do here. Kiwis don't seem to understand the 2-second following rule. I've been in cars with Kiwis driving, and had a car pulls out in front, and they just hug behind that car. I'm like, you need to allow gaps. Like, but he just pulled out in front of me. It's like, yeah, so you need to, there's this thing called the brake. You use the brake to adjust your speed in order to maintain the safe following distance. If the car in front of you right now were to stop all of a sudden, you would smash into them, and that would not be good. So the point of the 2-second following distance is that our reaction times are slow, and an accident in front of you is going to happen at the most inopportune time. At least that's the way we should look at it. So we need to just be keeping that 2-second following distance at all times. Maybe when a car merges in front of me, I won't slam on the brakes all of a sudden. I'll gradually slow down and create the 2-second following distance again. But I'm very conscious when I'm doing that by not having that space in front of me, I'm in dangerous territory, and I pay close attention at that time. Yeah, and this was another comment which was funny. Stop making the victim the perpetrator. I'm not sure what Andrew here is thinking makes the author of this post a victim. They were minding their own business on the road. A car tried to merge, wasn't allowed in, gave up on the idea, merged behind them, and then swung over into the inside lane. I guess that's another comment we can make. Jeff Upsom's always talking about how the inside lane is for passing. If you're not passing, you should be in one of the left lanes. And that's a very good point. The orange car who was trying to pass then went straight into the inside lane, even though they weren't passing at the time. There were 2 open lanes there. They didn't need to be in the inside lane. But my points in the comments on this Facebook post were not about the car trying to merge. They were just about this principle that if someone's trying to merge, you should let them merge. One person commented, I wonder if I'll find it, that the rules don't require... I'll find it, hang on. Okay, I couldn't find it, but one person commented saying the rules don't require you to be polite when you're driving. That may be, but even if that's the case, you should still be polite. Roads are a dangerous place, and anything we can do to make them safer, reduce road rage, we should do. So even if it's legally permitted for you to be a horrible driver, still you should be a polite, considerate driver, because that's just a decent and safe thing to do. So I'm sure this video will get more comments, but this was just me, instead of going and redoing all those comments and figuring out how to get those comments where I posted the video accepted, I thought I'd make this video.